December 7, 1941. Do you know why that day is significant? A few days ago I had the chance to go to Pearl Harbor. If you haven't been there, it is a tremendous experience. I don't tend to really go to tourist traps or attractions. I try to stay away from that kind of stuff. But when it comes to US history, world history, and remembering those that have died for us, I do think it's important to learn about those things. And I hadn't been to Pearl Harbor yet, and I had the chance to go, so I went. And this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to take you guys along on the journey and the thought process, the things that were going through my head as I went to Pearl Harbor. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the experience I had. One of the first things I noticed right away was just kind of the setting or the era. You know, so much as a younger generation, I don't think we tend to reflect on the past and reflecting on where we've come from so that we know where we're going. Just seeing the culture and kind of the present technology and stuff. That was something that struck me right away as I started to enter into the museums, just kind of seeing this culture that the World War II happened in, and where people were at this time. What was it like in 1941? I actually think that this is probably my favorite thing about going through the museums and stuff, is they do really show what it was like in 1941. After kind of seeing the culture and talking about what was going on in that era, the museum started getting into the weaponry and how the military was equipped at the time. And this is interesting to me, but also very sobering in a way. From the start of World War I, which was in 1914, ended in 1918, to the end of World War II, which ended in 1945. The entire military and warfare changed. We, in a sense, went to a very crude style of warfare to nuclear weapons dropped in Japan at the end of World War II. The weaponry, the bombs, the planes, the ships, building aircraft carriers, battleships, and all this stuff, and just the style of warfare all changed. We don't live in an age where we think about that kind of stuff, and I think we're all very glad that we don't, but we need to look back and remember that stuff so that we don't allow that to happen again. The museums had a lot of information on the specific battleships, especially the Arizona. They had a model of it, and with plaques that talk about all the different weaponry and what it was equipped with. Watching something on a screen, to me, I've never been much of like an auditory or just pure visual person. I am visual, but I'm more visual and kinesthetic. So being able to stand there and look at the actual object, parts of one of the actual torpedoes that hit Arizona there, like the entire back section, like the propulsion section. You can't touch them, but you can see them and walk around them and read the plaques about them, and you learn about it in your own way instead of watching this pre-presented or this thought out presentation on what happened. You get to experience a little bit of it for yourself, and that's what hit me so hard. After going through all the museums, me and my friends that were with me, we were able to get into that last tour of the Arizona Memorial. I'm very grateful for it. I was having a great experience beforehand, but that experience kind of changed my state of mind. Going into it, it was a little bit more of just happening out here. After seeing the Arizona Memorial, after coming out, the last few things we saw, it made me think a lot more. After watching the 25-minute video before going to the Arizona Memorial, you get on a boat and it takes you out there, and they ask you to keep a very respectful attitude, and I was really impressed because most people did, and so it was very respectful and quiet, and to me that was really amazing because with something like this, with possibly the most memorable and horrible day in the history of America, it was just really nice to see that people were being respectful of those that had died for them, for their freedom and for the freedom of this country. Once we got to the Arizona Memorial, there was like a main room that spans the ship, and I think I got a picture of a model of how that works. But it spans the ship, and so you can look over the sides and look down at what's left of the ship. And the thing that it really blew my mind was that the ship is still leaking oil. And it never crossed my mind that now in 2017, it would still be leaking oil. And so getting there, looking over the side and seeing oil still coming up, that was something that definitely kind of sobered me. After that main room, there's a back room that has a big plaque with all the names of the people that died on the Arizona. And that was something that really made me think. And to see and be able to look down and see these names of these people that gave their lives in probably the worst day in American history. It was very impactful in my life. When we got off the boat after being done with the memorial, my whole mindset had changed. And the rest of the time, I was a little bit more subdued and just kind of paying attention more to stuff. And we read some stories about how some of the ships that were sunk during the war, what happened to them. And they also had the list of names of people that had died in those. And just seeing how many people died